Hey everyone, before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more exciting content. She was the quiet new transfer in a hoodie and beat-up sneakers, the one every cocky ROTC cadet decided to teach a lesson on day one. By sunset, the same cadets were on their backs in the dirt, staring up at the deadliest Navy SEAL in the fleet who had just spent the last hour letting them dig their own graves. America, you're gonna love this one. The sun was already cooking the parade deck at Texas A&M University when the gray Chevy Tahoe rolled in with California plates. Lieutenant Commander Riley Ghost Harper killed the engine, pulled the hood of her Corps of Cadets sweatshirt over her dark hair, and stepped out carrying nothing but a small black backpack. No ribbons, no trident visible, no hint that the woman in running shoes and faded jeans had more confirmed kills than the entire senior class combined. She was here for 1 semester as a guest instructor for the Naval ROTC's Elite Leadership Lab, but the orders from the Commodore were crystal clear. Arrive quiet, observe, and only reveal when necessary. The first formation of the fall semester was pure chaos. The Ross Volunteers, the university's crack drill team, were holding tryouts, and the upper-class cadets had turned it into their annual kingdom of hazing. The loudest voice belonged to Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Mason King Whitaker, 6'4", linebacker shoulders, and an ego the size of the Lone Star State. When Riley quietly fell into the back of the formation, Mason spotted fresh meat immediately. "Who invited the civilian?" he barked, marching straight toward her. "This is a closed evolution, sweetheart. Get out of here." Riley didn't flinch. "I'm reporting for the leadership lab, sir." Mason laughed so hard his buddies doubled over. "Sir? Cute. You're not even in uniform. Last chance. Get out of here before we make you." The circle closed. Phones came out. Riley looked around at 20 smug faces and simply nodded. "Roger that." She walked away. Mason took it as victory. That was Monday. Tuesday, the physical screening began at 0430. Mason's crew had designed the workout to break people. Log PT, endless flutter kicks in the sand pit, and a 3-mile ruck with 45 pounds for anyone who dared stay. Riley showed up in the same hoodie. Mason tossed her a ruck that had to weigh 60. She slung it like it was full of feathers and outran half the males by the second mile. When Mason screamed at her to drop and give him 50, she dropped, knocked them out perfectly, then stood up and waited for the next order. No attitude, no complaint, just quiet competence. By Wednesday, the harassment turned personal. They lost her paperwork, assigned her the worst barracks room, poured Gatorade on her rack while she was at class. Riley never reported it. She just cleaned the mattress, folded her clothes into perfect hospital corners, and kept showing up early. Thursday night was the real test. The infamous shark attack after dark on the sand volleyball courts behind the quad. Every year the seniors cornered the fish, freshmen and transfers, and made them prove they belonged. This year they had one target. Riley walked straight into the circle at 2,200 hours. Mason and 15 of his strongest cadets formed a ring of muscle and arrogance. "On your knees, transfer," Mason ordered. Riley stood still. "I said on your knees." She looked him dead in the eye. "Make me." The laughter died. Mason charged. What happened next lasted less than 8 seconds and would live forever in Texas A&M legend. Mason reached for her hoodie. Riley stepped inside his reach, trapped his arm, pivoted, and dropped him face first into the sand with a textbook hip throw. Before the circle could react, she was moving. Foot sweep on the next guy, elbow to the solar plexus of another, palm strike that sat a 4th cadet down so hard he forgot how to breathe. The rest froze, mouths open. Riley stood in the center, breathing steady, hoodie still up. "Anyone else want to try?" she asked softly. Dead silence. She reached up, pulled the hood back, and for the first time they saw the faint white scar that ran from her left ear to her jawline, souvenir from Ramadi. Then she reached into her backpack, pulled out a folded set of desert camis, and shook them out. On the left breast, the golden trident of a Navy SEAL. Above the pocket, Harper. Rank tabs. Silver oak leaves of a lieutenant commander. Campaign ribbons stacked so thick they looked like armor. The phones that had been recording suddenly pointed at the ground. Mason pushed himself up, spitting sand. Ma'am, we didn't know. Clearly, Riley said. But school's in session now. Friday morning, the entire Corps of Cadets was called to emergency formation at 0500. The Commodore himself stood on the steps of the quad with Riley at his side, now in perfectly tailored service khakis, hair in a tight bun, cover tucked under her arm. The look on Mason's face when he realized the woman he'd tried to humiliate was not only the guest instructor but the most decorated living graduate of the entire program was something cameras should have preserved for posterity. The Commodore didn't yell. He simply introduced Lieutenant Commander Riley Harper, Bud/S Class 247 honor graduate, 2 Bronze Stars with V, a Silver Star, and a classified number of deployments that made even the Marine instructors swallow hard. Then he turned the microphone over to her. Riley didn't scream either. I spent the last 4 days letting you show me exactly who you are when no one's watching, she began. Some of you showed courage. Some of you showed character. A few of you showed me the exact opposite. She looked straight at Mason. I'm not here to break you. I'm here to build warriors worthy of the cloth you'll one day wear. Starting today, the hazing stops. The cliques stop. The cowardice disguised as toughness stops. We're going to learn what real leadership looks like. And it starts with treating every human being with dignity, even the quiet ones in hoodies. She paused, let it sink in. And for the record, I could have ended that little circle Tuesday night. I didn't because I needed to see how far you'd go. Congratulations. You went far enough. The twist came the following week. During the Leadership Lab's capstone field exercise, intel came down that a real-world threat had been called in against the university. An active shooter drill turned hot by a disgruntled former cadet with access to weapons. Campus police were still mobilizing when Riley's phone buzzed with a classified alert. She looked at the 24 cadets assigned to her for the weekend, saw the fear in their eyes, and made a decision. Listen up, she said quietly. This just became real. Stay behind me, do exactly what I say, and we all go home tonight. What followed was 47 minutes of controlled chaos that never made the news. Riley moved through campus like a ghost, neutralizing the threat with 2 precisely placed shots from a borrowed M18, shielding 3 civilians with her own body, and guiding her cadets to safety without a single friendly casualty. When SWAT finally arrived, they found the suspect zip-tied and unconscious, and a Navy SEAL officer standing over him with an empty magazine and a calm that bordered on eerie. The university tried to give her a medal. She declined, said the cadets who kept their heads and helped evacuate dorms deserved the recognition. Instead, she took them all out for steak on her own dime and told them stories they'd never repeat outside that table. By the end of the semester, Mason Whitaker, former king of the bullies, was the first one in formation every morning, polishing boots for the freshmen and asking Riley for extra PT because, I've got a lot to make up for, ma'am. Riley just smiled. Then let's get after it, cadet. When graduation came, the entire Corps gave her a standing ovation that lasted 4 full minutes. She saluted them from the stage, eyes shining, and whispered, "Hoo-yah, Aggies." The quiet girl in the hoodie had walked in and walked out a legend, proving once and for all that the most dangerous person in the room is the one who never needs to tell you she's dangerous. Now drop a comment and tell me, where are you watching this from? Texas, California, Florida, overseas on deployment? Let me know what part of this great country you're holding it down from tonight. Gig 'em and God bless America.